Hey, Mike Kennedy with you here. Let's apply some Arab techniques, techniques that Muslims have used in the past to solve this current war between Israel on one side and Hamas and the Palestinians on the other. Now, these people claim all they want is their land back. Well, again, look through history. Arabs don't give land back. They don't ever give it back. I don't think there's ever been a case where Muslims said, well, we conquered this area and, we're kind of rough on the people. We're going to give it back to them and they can practice whatever religion they want to. No, that's never happened. So, number one, we totally rule out any concessions of giving land that is now part of Israel back to Muslims. No, we don't do that. They didn't do it, we don't do it. The next one, we got 2.5 million people there that have to be kind of taken care of. There's two avenues for doing that. If we look back again in the history of Muslims and what they did, what their countries did. And first one is deporting people. And what do we have for an example at? Well, around 1915, because the Muslims feared that Armenian Christians living within their borders might aid the enemy if they were attacked, they just killed them. 1.2 million people they killed. They starved them, they death marched them, they did all kinds of things, but it's rightly called the first genocide of the 20th century. Usually when we say genocide, we might think of the Holocaust, we might think of Rwanda. But the first one, at least in the 20th century, was committed by Muslims against Armenian Christians. So, what does that tell us? Well, since Arabs have used that solution, should Israel use that solution? Should they just go in and say, I think these people, it's even more connected than what the Arabs did. They thought this would happen. Israel already knows it is happening. So does Israel have a right to just go in there and kill everybody? I mean, that's how Arabs took care of that situation. Then we have one about deporting people. After the formation of Israel, the Arab countries deported 900,000 Jews out of their countries, and they didn't let them bring things with them. I mean, they might have had things that they could carry, but they basically left behind $150 billion of assets. So, can we use that solution? Can Israel just go in there and start, dropping the people, driving buses and dropping them in Arab countries? Kind of like what's happening with our border crisis. Places like New Mexico and Texas are busing some people to New York City, the big sanctuary state and city, and dumping them there. And all of a sudden, there's a problem with the border that Democrats now see once they've had to deal with it. But back to this original solution, 900 million, we'll adjust that up for inflation and all of these things, and we'll say, 2.5 million people, just take them, drop them somewhere. And, if they want to carry one suitcase with them, we'll give them that. And everything else, we'll just acquire, whether it's factories, whether it's homes, obviously the factories who've not been bombed, military things, everything, and just divide it up among Israel. That's what Arabs did. How could it not? Was it fair then? And is it fair now? it's so bizarre. And just think, I would think that Arab countries owe reparations to Armenian Christians and to Jewish people. I mean, the Jewish people we know right off, $150 billion. Muslim countries should be paying that back to, I would say, to Israel, right? Seems only fair. You know, it's so bizarre. What you see is now the news is all starting to shift. It isn't about the unprovoked attack by Hamas on Israel that's the problem. It's, oh, Israel's the whole problem. Somehow Israel's responsible for the initial attack, which they're not. And it's just really bizarre how news goes. You know, you had Biden at one point saying, oh, no, we need peace. We got to have peace. And Putin from Russia is saying, oh, no, we have to have peace. There might be a third party that would get into this war, and we don't want that. It's like, what? So we're saying we're going to handle this conflict differently, Israel and Arabs, than the Ukraine and Russia. What do we have with the Russian situation? They believe that the incredibly rich farmland and all these different things that the Ukraine has, we're part of Russia and should be part of Russia again. So they go in, invade it, and we have, you know, the U.S. throwing all kinds of money there, billions of dollars, and Russia's like run out of weapons. They're getting them from the Chinese. So it's like, okay, that's okay to do. You know, people are so in favor of it in the U.S. and everything and all this stuff. So why isn't it, you know, fair for it to be used in Israel? You know, we can just pump money, well, we kind of are, weaponry and things, into Israel, and everybody should just shut up, because somehow giving aid to the Ukraine is okay, but giving aid to Israel isn't okay. But, like I say, we have the three things that we can use from the history of Islam and the Muslim people. Never return any territory. Deport people with none of their possessions. And finally, you know, eliminate them. If they won't be deported, you know, why can't Israel look at that situation and say, you know, if someone attacks us and these people are still there, they might side with that other side. We need to get rid of them. Again, that's what Arabs did with the Armenian Christians. So it just shows the hypocrisy in some of these things, that, you know, Muslims are crying out like they've been they're perfectly innocent, pure as driven, you know, white as snow, and this horrible thing has happened to them, and they have no responsibility for it happening at all. Wrong. So, tell me what you think. Bye.